Post-harvest processing and handling of cocoa bean. Harvest processing. Harvested pods are usually cut open after they're cut off the tree. The cocoa seeds and pulp are removed and the shell will be discarded. Seeds are either laid out on grates, put in bins, or piled. Sweating occurs at this time, and then that leads into the fermentation. So the pulp liquefies while it ferments. In this picture to the left, we've got a cocoa tree, or cocoa bean tree, I should say, where there's the pods. And the picture on the right shows a cocoa pod that's split open to reveal the cocoa beans inside. So fermenting. Fermented pulp leaks away and it leaves behind the cocoa seed. Sweating is crucial for bean quality, and the cocoa bean normally has a bitter taste. Interrupted sweating results in poor cocoa quality. The heap of beans is commonly laid on large leaves where they are soaked with water and then covered with more leaves to start the fermentation process. The beans are sometimes taken to a facility to undergo fermenting along with drying, and that'll be in a large-scale plantation. So the fermentation takes about 7 days, and you have to mix the beans every 2 days. And the drying process takes between 5 to 14 days, depending on the climatic conditions and whether or not it's a large-scale plantation or a small scale. So the picture in the top left corner is the big leaves that are laid on the ground and the cocoa beans are put on top. And then they'd add the water and then lay the leaves over top of it for the fermentation to start. And then the bottom picture is like a large-scale plantation where they've got the beans laid out and then they can control the climatic conditions. So the fermentation continued. The fermented beans are dried by being spread out on a surface with constant motion. It can also be done by the sun or artificial heat, like we've seen in the previous pictures. Sun-dried is preferred, so there's no foreign flavors like smoke or oil that can change the flavor. The cured beans are packed into sacks for transportation. Chocolate flavor begins to accumulate during the fermentation stage. Cocoa pods and the cocoa beans. Typical cocoa pod holds 20 to 50 beans. 400 dried beans gives 1 pound of chocolate. Each pod is obviously going to be different, but they usually yield about 35 to 40 grams of dried beans. The beans are roasted in the factory, cracked, and the shell is removed. That process results in nibs, and those nibs are what go on to make the chocolate or cocoa. So roasting. The nibs are roasted in special ovens at temperatures of 105 to 120 degrees Celsius. Actual time of roasting depends if the end result will be chocolate or cocoa. At this time, the nibs darken to a rich brown color and the chocolate flavor and aroma is acquired. Grinding. Roasted nibs are ground in the stone mills. Friction and heat of the milling process reduces nibs to thick brown liquid called the mass. The mass contains 53 to 58% cocoa butter. This mass is then pressed, and that's how you extract the cocoa butter. After this, it becomes a solid when it is cooled, and the end result is basis for all chocolate and cocoa products.